Christopher Wilson thought he'd try contacting both Flora and Cassandra. It didn't go well. He started with Flora. "Hello, how are you doing?" he asked. "Good evening," she said. "I'm doing well, thanks." "Nice meeting you. So where are you from?" "I live in Somerset," said Flora. "Where are you from?" "I live in Orlando, Florida. I was born and raised in Hamburg, Germany. Currently in Mexico for contract. Soon I'll get retired and get back to state. Retirement is in few months." And if the person that you're talking to online starts by telling you they live in one place, they come from another, they're working in a third, and they're about to get retired, then there's about a 99.9% chance that you're talking to a scammer. "I love Orlando," said Flora. "I went there a few years ago when my granddaughter was a little girl. What kind of contract are you working on?" "I'm an independent machine and contract rig engineer," he said. "My working activities are supervising drilling, solving technical problems, measuring operations against budgets, costing and scheduling drilling operations." And when somebody tells you a story like that, always ask them to explain one bit of it. If they can't, then you know you're talking to a scammer. "Sounds interesting," said Flora. "What kind of technical problems do you solve?" To which our man replied, "So what do you do for fun?" "Are we having a conversation?" asked Flora. "Yes," he said. "Awesome," said Flora. "What kind of technical problems do you solve? Or am I talking to a child?" "I work as an oil rig engineer," he said. "You already said that," replied Flora. "You also said, my working activities are supervising drilling, solving technical problems. What kind of technical problems do you solve?" Adding in brackets, assuming you aren't just a child who has no idea what he's talking about. "What do you really mean?" asked our child, who had no idea what he was talking about. "I really mean what I said," replied Flora. "What kind of technical problems do you solve? You told me it was part of your work." To which our man replied, "I don't really understand you." "You don't understand me asking you what kind of technical problems you solve," said Flora. "You're just talking like you're not NOMA, he said. I think he probably meant to type normal. "This is what you told me you do," replied Flora, copying and pasting the bit where he'd said, "My working activities are solving technical problems. So I'm just asking you what kind of technical problems you solve. Why did you tell me if you didn't want me to ask?" "So forget about it," he said. "Presumably," replied Flora, "because you have no idea what you're talking about. You're just a brainless moron, aren't you? Goodbye." "You are a big catfish," replied our man. "Whatever that means," said Flora. "You're just here for nothing," he said. "Or are you just upset," said Flora, "that I can tell you're a brainless idiot who has no idea what he's talking about? Maybe try pretending to be something you can understand. Street cleaner, village idiot." "You are a big idea," he said. You'll discover our man is not very good on insults. Most of them he can't even spell. "ROFL," replied Flora. "You are as your daddy," he said. "Guess you're having a bad day," replied Flora, failing to scam anyone. "Try pretending to be something more believable." "Cafe boy," she suggested. "You're a big fool," he said. "Wash her up," or something you understand. "It's probably dinner time, so best to go home to mummy. Goodbye." "Fool," he said. "You know nothing. You are just in this life for nothing." "I think you'll find it's you that's the fool," replied Flora, "trying to pretend to be something you know absolutely nothing about. I've had enough of you now. Goodbye." "Goat," he said. And I don't remember whether he blocked her or she blocked him. But that was the end of Christopher Wilson in Flora's life. But he'd also decided to try his luck with Cassandra. "Hello, how are you doing?" he asked. "Good afternoon," replied Cassandra. "I'm very well, thank you." "Nice meeting you," he said. "So where are you from?" "I live in Suffolk. Where are you from?" "I live in Orlando, Florida. I was born and raised in Hamburg, Germany. Currently in Mexico for contract. Soon I'll get retired and get back to state. Retirement is in few months," he said. "And what are you currently doing in Mexico?" asked Cassandra. "I'm an independent machine and contract rig engineer. My working activities are supervising drilling, solving technical problems, measuring operations against budgets, costing and scheduling drilling operations." "You work for one of the oil companies?" asked Cassandra. "Yes," he said. "Which one?" asked Cassandra, to which our man replied, "Oil." "What do you do for fun?" "Yes, we agreed you work for an oil company," replied Cassandra. "Which oil company do you work for? And where in Mexico are you?" I work in an oil rig at the coast of Mexico, he said. Okay, which company owns the rig? Is this a guessing game where I get points for guessing the right answer? And where are you on the coast of Mexico? I was awarded this contract by the military. You know, those well-known owners of oil rigs internationally. The military started running oil rigs, have they? Who knew? Where are you on the coast of Mexico? I'm on a ship, he decided speedily, and there's no fixed location on the Gulf. Changed your mind, you were on an oil rig just now, she said, to which our man replied, so tell me more about yourself. Are you single? Stop avoiding the question, replied Cassandra. Did you change your mind? You were on an oil rig earlier, now you're on a ship. Which is it? Why is it so hard to get you to have a sensible conversation? Are you single? He tried. Stop avoiding the question, replied Cassandra, or are you just too stupid to read? What do you mean? Asked our stupid scammer, who presumably couldn't read. Are you on an oil rig or on a ship? You've told me both, or did you magically get transferred while we were chatting? To which our man replied, oil. Okay, let's make this really easy, said Cassandra. Are you A, on an oil rig, or B, on a ship? You can answer A or B. So our man did. A, he said. Awesome, replied Cassandra. So why did you tell me you were on a ship? And she copied and pasted the bit where he said, I'm on a ship and there's no fixed location on the Gulf. You can answer A, I was lying to you, or B, I'm too stupid to know where I am, or C, my mate typed that and I couldn't be bothered to read what he said, or D, some other excuse you can make up for yourself. So, tell me more about yourself, he said. Are you single? Okay, replied Cassandra, you really are too thick to read, aren't you? To which our man replied, do you have Google Chat app on your device? It'd be nice if we continue our conversation on Google Chat. Let's exchange email, so we chat more on Google Chat. I can send you a few of my pictures and stay in touch with you there. That'll be very convenient for me. Cassandra copied and pasted for the second time all the questions she'd asked him. Send me your email address, he said. Let's continue our conversation. So she pasted the questions again. Send me your email address, he said. I realise you're struggling with reading, replied Cassandra. Try reading it slowly, one word at a time. And she pasted the questions again. If I give you my email, she asked, will you answer the question? To which our man replied, yes. So she gave him her email address. And so, of course, they moved to Chat. And over on Chat, you can take bets as to whether or not you think he made more sense. Hello, how you doing, he said. Cassandra, of course, copied and pasted the questions, adding a few minutes later when he hadn't answered her, so you lied when you said you'd answer the question if I gave you my email address. What's that? He asked. What is a lie? Asked Cassandra. A lie is when someone tells you something that isn't true. You told me you'd answer that question if I gave you my email address. At least your mate on Facebook told me you'd answer the question. I really can't stand men who lie. Good morning, he said the next morning. Did you sleep well? I tossed and turned all night waiting for you to answer the question, replied Cassandra, and if you don't answer it, I don't want to talk to you any more, because I'll know you're just a time-waster. I'm sorry, he said. Oh, my God! Yes! I'm on a ship in Mexico. Are you there? You're quite sure you're on a ship? Because if you are, why did you tell me you were definitely on an oil rig? And she copied and pasted the bit where she'd said, let's make this really easy. Are you A, on an oil rig, B, on a ship? And he had answered, A. So please tell me, she said, are you on a ship, or are you on an oil rig? If you're still struggling, you can answer A, I'm on a ship, or B, I'm on an oil rig. And Mang said, I'm on a ship. And then, replied Cassandra, you can explain why you told me both things. You can answer A, I don't know the difference between an oil rig and a ship. B, I told you I was on a ship. My mate said oil rig. C, I have no idea what I'm talking about, and I'm nowhere near Mexico. To which our man replied, wow! That's nice. Which? Replied Cassandra. A, B, or C? To which our man replied, B. Which was, I told you I was on a ship. My mate said oil rig. That's what I thought, replied Cassandra, which obviously means that C is also true. Neither of you are anywhere near Mexico. Goodbye. No, he said. Well, duh, replied Cassandra. Obviously the answer is yes. You got it right, he said. If you think you're on a ship and your mate thinks you're on a rig, then it's obvious that neither of you have any idea what you're talking about. Two idiots with one phone. Send me your picture, he said. Is your father that is idiots? Goodbye, replied Cassandra. Take care, he said. Fool! Goodbye, beach! If you're going to insult me, replied Cassandra, at least learn to spell. It's so much more impressive than calling me a beach, which is the seaside. At least I can spell idiot. He sent a little gif of a goat. That's a compliment. Just FYI, replied Cassandra. It stands for greatest of all time. You're just like your daddy, he said again. Clearly my daddy didn't use... Am I allowed to say condom on YouTube? I don't see why not. You're just like your daddy condom, he said. Clearly my daddy didn't use a condom, replied Cassandra, otherwise I wouldn't be here. Shame your daddy didn't, though. You're in this life for nothing, he said. Or should I say daddies, as we agree there are at least two of you. It's your mum, he said. Your daddy don't know where your mum born. You're useless. At last, you end up in UK, baby. That all the guys see that. With money, get out. And our man disappeared. I hope you enjoyed this rather pointless tale of at least two scammers who couldn't even decide where they were. If you did, please like it, please share it, please comment down below, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again in another video.